My presentation today will be on the green sea turtles. The green sea turtles are a very common species of turtle and are recognized by the green fat located under their shell. In the Pacific, they are often referred to as black sea turtles. The adult green sea turtles can grow to be between 3 to 4 feet, with the largest ever recorded being 5 feet long. Green sea turtles are the largest sea turtle species. Adults can also weigh between 240 to 420 pounds. This species is listed as endangered. The green sea turtles are frequently found in temperate and tropical waters throughout the world. They usually stay near the coastline and around islands. The green sea turtle is rarely found out in the open ocean, and when it is, it's usually when it is migrating. This map that I have shows the most common areas for adults and juveniles in dark blue. As you can see, it really does stay around the coastal regions as well as islands, and then the less common areas are in that middle blue color, which obviously has some open ocean in it, but again, not very common for them to be there, and it's usually while they are migrating. The common nesting areas are depicted in red, and as you can see, these are islands or on the coast. Green sea turtles have many ecosystem services. First, they graze on algae and seagrass beds. By doing this, they maintain the seagrass beds and make them even more productive. This is kind of like mowing your lawn, and these seagrass beds are really important to a lot of other creatures in the ocean. Once the green sea turtles digest the seagrass, it is then discarded as waste and utilized as recycled nutrients for other animals. Another way that they provide ecosystem services is through being a food source for larger ocean animals such as sharks. Finally, sea turtles are a large tourism attraction, especially in tropical places. Excursions such as snorkeling or scuba diving with these animals are very common. Some of the threats facing the green sea turtle are fishery bycatch, habitat loss, over-harvesting and illegal trade, and pollution. Fishery bycatch is when animals are accidentally captured in fishing gear, commonly long lines, trawls, and drift nets. 40% of all animals caught through these methods are not what the fishermen intended to catch and are discarded, often dead or close to being so. Sea turtles are often attracted to the lights and bait used while fishing and are caught on the hooks or become entangled and drown. So a lot of this fishery bycatch is catching turtles, which are then either suffocated and drowned by the nets because they can't get up to the surface, and then also the J hooks that are really commonly used by the fishermen are really easy for the turtles to swallow, which will cause suffocation or internal bleeding. Habitat loss is especially prevalent with the nesting grounds used by sea turtles. Like other turtles, green sea turtles are dependent on beaches for laying their eggs. The eggs are buried in the sand and left there until they hatch. However, coastal development is diminishing the available beaches for sea turtles to nest. Human activity goes hand in hand with this, as it can lead to the destruction of nesting sites as well. If we have a lot of people running around, they can trample these nests, or if they're out at night, it can even make it impossible for the sea turtles to swim up to the beach and nest peacefully. This obviously impacts the number of sea turtles that are added to the population each year, leading to a decline in the population. If they're not able to recover their population through reproduction, then obviously it's going to lead to a decline. Finally, the seagrass beds that are the main food source for green sea turtles are impacted by coastal development as well. As more coastal development goes up, there's increased pollution and sedimentation that are really affecting the livelihood of these green seagrass beds. Green sea turtles are also impacted by overharvesting due to illegal trade. Sea turtles are hunted mainly for use in medicine and traditional ceremonies in some cultures. This includes the sea turtle eggs, meat, and shells. They're all really highly coveted as they will fetch a high price. The shell can be used to make products such as hair clips, and the meat and eggs are mainly used for cultural reasons. Some cultures hold the belief that turtle eggs can be an aphrodisiac or even lead to long life. Finally, green sea turtles are impacted by pollution. Not only does it directly affect the turtles themselves, but also what they eat. These seagrass beds are being destroyed by pollution, as we had mentioned earlier. Additionally, the disease of fibropapillomas is linked directly to the pollution, and it affects many green sea turtles, often leading to death. Oil spills are another way that the green sea turtles are directly affected by pollution. Obviously, oil spilling into the water is never a good thing, and it affects many sea animals, not just the green sea turtles. Another impact is free-floating plastic in the oceans. The amount of free-floating plastic is constantly increasing in the oceans, and these can be consumed by sea turtles and suffocate them. They can get caught in it. I'm sure we've all seen videos of the straws being pulled out of turtles' noses. It can be really, really detrimental to them. Although they have many threats, there are a couple conservation efforts already being implemented. Some of these include new fishing procedures. In the new fishing procedures, they are really trying to implement circle hooks so that they lead to less suffocation in the turtles. TEDs, turtle excluder devices, are trying to reducing mortality when used, but it is not regulated worldwide. Additionally, the use of LED lights and gill nets are used to illuminate the nets to hopefully reduce turtle bycatch. However, turtles have been known to swim towards the lights, so that one really isn't making as much of a difference as they would hope. Finally, safer turtle handling procedures while disentangling turtles from the nets could reduce mortality in bycatch. If the fishermen know how to properly disentangle the turtles and then re-release them, it's going to make a big difference. Another procedure that is trying to be implemented is to create marine protected areas. And this would give the turtles a safe place to nest, a safe place to feed, and a safe place to migrate. Using satellite tracking is to help creating these marine protected areas, trying to figure out, where are the turtles migrating, where are they nesting, where are they feeding. And these satellite trackers usually are not harmful to the turtles and fall off on their own eventually. Finally, CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, helps to regulate and diminish illegal trading of green sea turtles, as well as many other endangered species. Although this is a really good start, we need more global procedures implemented that are heavily regulated so to stop the decline of the green sea turtle. And here are my citations. Thank you.